Welcome back, and way to go for completing the Move It workshop. You did it. That's so amazing. I'm super proud of you guys and beyond excited. The fact that you made it this far says you're the type of person that's committed to master the real things it takes to create a stronger and more enriched life for your dog by harnessing the power of body and mind games. And if you're like most of my clients who make it to this point, then chances are you've already seen little changes in your dog and you're asking yourself questions like, what's next? I'm a bit confused and I got to admit, I'm still a bit worried. I don't want to do anything that might not be okay for my dog. What should I be doing? How do you take what you've learned and really start to use it in all areas of your dog's life to experience more fun, #viral video, better performance and results, more good energy without relying on the outdated thinking about exercise and walks and tossing balls and chuckets, and that leaves most people feeling exhausted and burnt out and frustrated and bored as hell. How good do you think you'll feel when you finally get your dog's current daily needs dialed in? There are 3 things that you must master if you want to improve your dog's strength, balance, and connection, and have the peace of mind and confidence in your choices for your dog. And that's what we're going to do in this final video here today. Well, actually, it's going to be more of an audio than a video, but that's what we're going to do today, so that you can move forward beyond the workshop, confident today, with certainty, knowing that your choices create rich opportunities for your dog to thrive, knowing that you do deserve your peace of mind, and that you can do this. And with a few tools and some great practices, you can have the dog that everyone wishes they had, like a personal trainer that helps you develop the right muscles until you get into shape, and then you can do it on your own. But first, before we take a look at what the future holds for you, we gotta just creep on back a little bit, take a peek back, and see how far you've already come. So in the first section, you learned that you and your dog are unique, one of a kind, and how to discover that true uniqueness, the strengths and the weaknesses. Because we all got them, right? We got really, really real, got down and dirty, and saw places on your dog that some of you have never seen before, and I bet there are some of you that never want to see that again, but you might. Then I taught you my 4 core principles and the 6 building blocks that they support, so that you can start right away on exercises and games that are good for your dog, that will radically improve your dog's confidence and his ability to make better choices, and not be getting his exercise by jumping up on people, racing at the door, or counter surfing, and all those other things you really don't want. I showed you that the belief that if I just had more time is actually the biggest thing holding you back. And when you too let that one go, that rosebud, remember in video 1, that rosebud, that tiny blossom, your dog's abilities, the results and their performance are going to finally skyrocket. And I wish I could teleport you and your dog to my place so you could touch and you could feel the energy, the love, and the enthusiasm, experience those wagging tails in person that exudes from my dogs when we are indoor exercising, and see how their strength, balance, and connection grows. And there is a way. When I first started experimenting this, I just thought it would help me get my dog Diaz back into competition and keep her injury-free for the rest of her life. But instead, I realized we'd become my dream team. We were connected in a way that felt like we could read each other's minds. And I still remember vividly the first day we walked into the agility ring with 100% trust and confidence, and I fell to the floor in tears with her jumping all over me when we finished the run. The very best feeling ever. Like, I can still feel that. I can see it. I can touch it. And each dog since then, Alive, her daughter, Ducati the Gordon Setter, has been beyond my dreams as a result of this experience. And now I have that most magical relationship with Moment. I'm stronger in my choices, I'm more confident in my dog's choices, and in his physical abilities. My dogs are stronger in their bodies, and when there are blips and oopsies, which there always will be, I feel equipped. I feel powerful. We have balance. No one day is ever a tipping point that we can't recover from. Stronger, balanced, connected. The 4 core principles, you remember them, right? Are posture and position, free to bail, right equipment, and the right order. And they underpin all of our programs. Posture and position. People simply aren't aware how out of whack their dogs are. And chances are you weren't aware either. And you didn't even realize how much you were missing until you started going through this whole process. But there's a whole other level of awareness that we are going to help you with. Because the truth is, you and I both know, you can't change what you can't see, can you? And through the powerful exercises and games in our Power of Paws program, I'm going to show you how to evolve a strong mental picture of your dog today into that ideal rectangle that we learned about, that is the secret key to power and balance, to comfort day to day, to a long, healthy life. And it's when you practice this that you develop the discipline, the keen eye, the mastery of true awareness. And there's a direct correlation to your awareness and your dog's ability to perform, to get better results, to play without discomfort, to think clearly and make awesome choices. And if you're missing this piece, now you know why your activities are falling flat. Now next is free to bail. That was number 2. Now most of us want to control what our dogs do, but this stifles their free will, their ability to make a choice that benefits them. Now not all of their choices are the ones that they should be doing. Free to bail is just a cleaner way to let the dog discover and experience a new situation that keeps them in a high learning state. A state conducive to building confidence. And you may have heard it before, and maybe this is the first time you're hearing it, but most dogs with low confidence and that ignore their humans is because they're not allowed to make choices, to dip their toe into an experience. And you have their back. But now you're starting to see and realize that when we allow the dog to be free to bail, we change everything for both of you. Now the problem is the need to control, to employ outdated industry standards. They're actually holding you back a lot. It's probably one of the bigger ones. You don't even know that they are in your DNA. And when you don't even know they are there, you don't know how to change them. And that's why we created our on-off game in the Power of Paws methodology, so the dogs learn the safe way to excuse themselves from any situation they find uncomfortable. And speaking of uncomfortable, that's our second key thing that you must master. Learning to be uncomfortable. Now you've probably heard it a zillion times, get out of your comfort zone. But we mean it, and it's scary. We want you to get really, really uncomfortable. But what exactly does that mean? Well, it means being willing to shed a habit or 2 or 10 that isn't serving you guys anymore. Maybe it never served you, or it served you in the wrong way. And get out there and start building new ones. You know, the secret to everything we want for and with our dogs actually depends on us, on changing us first. So my dogs know what woosa means. It means chill out, zen out. It's what the captain in Bad Boys 2, you know, that movie franchise? What he said when Will Smith and Martin Lawrence had things that were blowing up, exploding, and crashing all around him. Woosa. But they couldn't learn it until I learned how to chill out, to zen out first. And then it was as easy as pie. So the next principle is the right equipment. And you know, one of the pitfalls and mistakes that people make when they're just starting to learn this is that they buy whatever they saw the person in that random YouTube video using. Or they try to DIY something at home without understanding the purpose of the exercise or the purpose of that piece of equipment or what area of the dog it works on, or worse yet, they use it in an unsafe fashion and they start accidentally hurting their dog. None of us ever want to do that. But here you're going to learn very specific and proven methods for how to pick the right equipment and start seeing positive changes in your dog's body. So you might be sitting there saying, but Debbie, I can't choose between a fit bone and a balance disc. And that's because you haven't explored the relationship between your dog and the equipment, right? And what if you can get your first piece? What's that going to do for your life if you can get just a couple of hours of your life back every week? Even just an hour. That's the difference. And that's why we've included a step-by-step equipment selection guide for both buy and DIY options inside the Power of Paws to help confirm your choice and give you some trust in your own decisions that you are doing this the right way. And the fourth principle is the right order. Why is this the final, most critical element of them all? Well, the truth is, when you try to build your blocks like a jigsaw puzzle, just grabbing random pieces and hoping they fit, you're actually building a house of cards destined to fail in the future, just like a house built on clay. Which means you're setting your dog up for failure or an injury. Just think about it. It doesn't matter how much you spent on your house. If it's in California and it's on a steep incline and rain comes in and washes the foundation out in a mudslide, you're gone. You see, most dog owners have spent their entire lives winging it with their dogs without a plan, or they worry about making the wrong choice for their dog, and they think that that's going to have some sort of positive effect on changing the outcome. And that's simply not true. So you and I both know that worry might give you something to do, keep your brain occupied, but it's not going to change anything. But in the world of dogs and fitness, it's actually the number one thing that's pushing those results, those moments of connection, the opportunity for your dog to shine away from you. A lot of times, we think we're on point, but we're actually just fooling ourselves. Or if you're like a lot of my clients who already understand this, know it conceptually, and are still saying, but how the heck do I know what my next step is that will be right for my dog, my puppy, or my golden oldie, my magic senior? And that's when we realized that inside my system, I had to create a very specific path that would help no matter how big or small the dog, no matter how old or young, could help anyone to let go of that frantic grabbing of the next shiny thing and be free from it once and for all. In fact, Lisa was one of those clients. She didn't even think she'd ever figure out what she was missing. And this is the text that she sent to me. Debbie, I just wanted to thank you so much for your wonderful webinar this evening. I am who you made this for, I'm sure. It describes me exactly. I have lots of fit equipment, but not sure where or how to begin. I even went to a few classes, but was not given the proper fundamental instruction and came away still feeling like something was missing. Your instruction and methodology is very engaging and straightforward, and that makes it empowering as well. I thank you, and my dogs thank you. Whether it's teaching your dog a new game, wrangling your kids or your grandkids, or coming up with new ideas for your business or your job, exercising the consistency muscle is key. I bet if you're like most of my clients, if I asked what you've tried, you'd say everything and nothing worked. Toys, balls, dog sport classes, play dates, dog park, even the dog walker that comes to your house. Yet if you looked around you, all those things are working for some people. Sound familiar? What's up? And if I asked you why you think they didn't work, if you're like some of my clients, you'll say something like, he's too old, or he's too young, he's a hound, or he's a terrier, he's an ass. Seriously, that's what someone told me was the reason things didn't work. She likes me better than everyone else at the park. He's got hip dysplasia. My family doesn't get on board with what I'm trying to do with the dog. I'm not a dog trainer. Those are excuses that we hide behind. I've done it too. Spaniels sniff. That's what they do. So I totally get you. And they bark when they're really excited. That's why Allie's nickname was Barkin' Allie. But your excuses are simply a way to protect yourself from having to look like a fool on those days where you and the dog are figuring out what works and what doesn't. It's uncomfortable, and sometimes it's totally embarrassing. But it's progress, and having a willingness to embrace a crazy, exciting future that you have no clue about how the heck you're going to get there is the final key. Moment after 4 months is still levitating across the intersection to the park. Not as much as day 1, nor not as much as day 45. And every day we work on it. And I simply consider it to be a little bit of extra shoulder and foreleg work for him. We'll get there. And so will you. So let's take a step back. Take a deep breath and let what we've talked about settle in. Imagine for a minute. Look out 6 months from today. And each day you wake up, and instead of dreading your dog walk, whatever the weather might be, or stressing over how you're going to exercise the dog into your crazy busy day, you're excited to try a new variation of one of your favorite games. You're already crafting ideas for where you could test it outside, who you could add as distractions. You know exactly where you're going. You have peace of mind because you are following your personal Fit Dog for Life framework. Now that I've given you all this, what are you going to do with it? I've shared with you the 4 core principles of our Fit Dog for Life framework. I've walked you through 3 hours of in-person training where we did the 5 assessments. Well, we did 4 really, and I left 1 for you guys to do on your own if that's something you're able to do. And we walked step by step through the 6 building blocks and then did some live training on the first 2 steps. Building block 1, 2 front feet on, and building block number 2, 2 back feet on. The real question is what are you going to do with it? As they say on that reality TV show, are you going to love it or list it? Oops, leave it, not list it. Are you going to be the type of person that dives in and discovers your dog's secret superpowers? Or are you both going back to the couch to hope for the best? Are you going to be the type of person that absorbs this stuff and begins practicing most days to unlock more tricks and games and up the results in your dog's life? Or because it was a super low price, you're going to ignore it and go back to the way things were before this training? Are you going to be the type of person that is committed to a life full of great choices and performance upgrades? Or are you going to be committed to your current status quo? And if you're committed, and if you are committed, a forward-thinking advocate for your dog's wellness for life, then I invite you to join our Power of Paws program so that you too can become confident, guilt and stress-free, so that you can experience a peace of mind every single day with your dog, knowing that each choice you make and each choice that he or she makes is taking you both to a place where so few people go, where the impossible becomes possible. The Power of Paws program is a 90-day, 15 minutes a day system that walks you through a daily exercise that begins to turn your boring, stressful efforts at exercising the energy out of your dog and upgrading his results into an automatic plan. It becomes a subconscious habit, so that by the end of this program, you will be intentionally playing with him almost like you're on autopilot. We're going to walk you through each of the key building blocks and teach you what to look for and what you don't want to see, plus all of the fine points of the techniques. We're going to show you about layering, about how to increase the challenge of a game without needing anyone else to tell you what and when. You're going to learn how to build a stronger connection with your dog and how to really enrich and stimulate him in ways that previously were invisible to you. And you're going to become super clear that the solution is never more. It is the quality of the what you do and the how you do it that makes all of the difference. So that's what you get when you join us as a Power of Paws member. And in a few short days, we'll be opening enrollment for the last class of 2020 Pupsters, as we're calling them. And it's at that time we'll see if you are a right fit for the program and if the program is a right fit for you. And if you're one of our fast decision makers, because I know there are some of you there, and you already know that this is your next step for you and the dog, and you know that working together close over the next 90 days is just going to take your dog's abilities to a whole nother level, then go ahead and click the link below the video, below the audio, and this is going to bump you to the front of the line so that you'll be one of the very first people notified when we open the doors in the next few days. So I want to thank you. I am super grateful for each and every one of you for giving up your valuable time to dive into this area that has just literally has made a massive change in my life and in the lives of my students. It's been such a great journey. I appreciate your participation and for hanging out with me. And we'll see you in a few days.